We're starting late at this point, so 10:07. So we have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and convene the meeting now. And got Rebecca, Ned, and me. Christy was let us know that she was going to be unable to attend today due to some work issues. So we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see, Rebecca, are you listed as a co-host?
You know, I'm on my phone, so it would, I'm not quite sure how to co-host my phone.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for anybody who might be coming into the waiting room to join the meeting. I'll be looking for that while we're talking. This should probably be a pretty short meeting because this is we have work that's in progress rather than work to report at this point. Let's go ahead and start. First item on the agenda under administrative matters, meeting rules to invite public comment. As always, and we review these at the beginnings of our meetings. We do request, we actively seek public input on what we're doing regarding bike and walkway issues in Wellfleet, and in particular right now for this analysis of alternatives that we're doing for the select board. So we welcome input. We do ask that people keep their comments during the meeting, try to keep them concise down to a minute period. And if you'd like to add additional information, please, you can send it to the committee website or the email, which is on our website. So Wellfleet Bikeways at wellfleet-ma.gov. So we'll get started. The official charge, Rebecca, I know you're on the phone. A lot of times you read this, I'll read it. The Bike and Walkways Committee is established to consider ways to provide safe areas for biking and walking. The Board of Selectmen believes that these activities should be available seasonally and year-round, as they are an important means of local transportation, or popular activities in the town, and promote good health. The Bike and Walkways Committee is charged with the following tasks. 1, to work with the Cape Cod National Seashore, the towns of Provincetown and Truro, and the Cape Cod Commission to establish the continuation of the bike trail northward into Provincetown, to prepare, and 2, to prepare a plan for future bike and walking routes throughout the town of Wellfleet. And so as we, and of course, as we meet that charge, you know, we hold these meetings on a bi-weekly basis, and we invite public input. So thank you all to the others who have joined us today. Let's see, near-term committee meeting calendar. Looks like we're going to have to make a change to our calendar. Christy O'Campbell notified that she is unable now to make the Friday morning meetings due to a change in work because the season is as the high season begins here in Wellfleet. So she indicated that Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays would work better for her. So Ned and Rebecca, do you have any preference there? She indicated any of those three.
She was also, I think maybe it said that evenings were also an option if that's better for everybody.
Okay. So either mornings or evenings on Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. Okay. So unless somebody has immediate thoughts on that, I'm flexible to do either any of those 3 days personally.
Tuesday is best for me. If that,
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, or Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, either. But Mondays usually not so great. And I could do evenings.
Is evenings better for you, Ned, or does it matter?
Yeah, probably they are. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Because I'm also really busy right now. So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rebecca, how does Tuesday evening sound to you?
That would work. Oh.
Okay. And when we say evening, what are you thinking, Ned? I want to work around your schedule because of your, I know it's a busy work time.
Well, for everybody too, I can be somewhat flexible, especially evenings. I don't know, 7, does that sound good to people or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
We've been keeping our meetings staggered on the off weeks. The select board has its meetings, and then we try to have our meeting, staggered with theirs. So this would actually work out well. I mean, if they're holding their meetings typically on Mondays or Tuesdays on a biweekly basis, if we hold ours Tuesday evenings on a biweekly basis, sure, then we can be reporting to them, and sounds good. I don't know that we need to have a vote. What I'd do is I would, Christie isn't here, so I'll take an action to put an email out to to all the committee members, so that we can ensure that that 7 o'clock Tuesday will work for everyone, and then we'll just schedule accordingly. Let's see. So the next meeting would be June 1st. So that would be the second week from this week. Does that sound
day
good?
after Memorial Day. Yeah,
Yeah.
Would we
Actually,
actually, would it be possible to switch to Wednesdays? I think that might be a little better.
that works for me.
Wednesday?
Yeah, so the next one would be June 2nd. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll send an email out to everybody, but notionally we'll say that the next meeting then would be at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 2nd. Okay, good. The next item under administrative matters, correspondence. And Rebecca, I know you were preparing a letter that we were going to submit, I believe to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to the select board.
Oh, and I completed that yet, so I will have to complete that. You mean about thanking Lance for his service?
Yes.
Yes, I'm drafting a letter thanking Lance for all his hard work working on the
Okay.
committee.
So what I'd like to do then is to make a motion that the committee endorses the letter that Rebecca is drafting. She's explained to us notionally what the letter would include, so I don't know that we need to review it before I go. I don't want to put that off.
Yeah, no, it's pretty simple.
So I make a motion that we as a committee endorse the letter that's being drafted to be sent by the committee to Lance and copied to the select board.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think I heard Rebecca.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous. Before we move on from administrative matters, although I don't expect any, is there any public input at this point before we move on in our agenda? Our next item is the approval of minutes from May 7th. Christy O'Campbell, who's our clerk and can't be here today, is drafting those minutes, and she did contact me and with her apologies on not having the draft ready for today's meeting. However, she said that the draft can be ready tomorrow for the committee to review, and so I would propose that we review her draft when it's prepared tomorrow, or I should say when it's finished, and that we post it on our website as draft meeting minutes so that it's available for public review. And then we can formally approve it at our next meeting. So is there any discussion on doing that? I think
That sounds great. Yeah.
okay. So I move that we do that. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Well, everybody
Aye.
seconded, so I guess we're all in favor. All right. Okay. So Bikeway analysis status. Really getting to the heart of what we're doing here. So we have we've been out in the field completing scoring of the various segments, the bikeway route segments. And it's worth noting that we've completed approximately 70%. So we're 2/3 of the way through, just to give or take. 2/3 of the way through with the segment analysis. Looks like we're on track to be done just in the next few days. So that's great. Thank you to everybody who's been out there in the field getting the scoring completed. I think that I have found that the scoring app that we made available for use on smartphones has really accelerated the scoring, moving away from paper, which then has to be transcribed into the computer. You can actually do the electronic scoring in the field. Those scores are automatically transferred so that they can be entered into the database. And that's on the database end, that's working very well. So if you can use that app for future scoring, please do. And also, I would say let's see. Yeah, the scoring is going well. I'm looking preliminarily at the inputs that are coming in. The scores are pretty tightly grouped, and that's very encouraging. I mean, it shows that the test segments that we ran, which were in Eastham and Truro, to become familiar with the criteria, paid off. You know, when we first started this, we were concerned about, well, what happens if the scores are widely apart? We're not seeing that. So that's encouraging that we have valid criteria, that we have good criteria, and that we have a common understanding of what of how to score on a 1 to 5 scale here. So yeah, let's keep going on this, and we can coordinate. I think it's best when we go out in pairs, because a lot of times it's possible then to do real-time balancing of the scores. I mean, it's often very helpful to talk about features that we're looking at. It's not required to go out in pairs, I mean, because we can automatically combine scores that are provided by individuals too in the database. So that either way it's working, but I think we've all found that going out in pairs has a lot of benefits. Let's see, so regarding the analysis, I mean, we've talked about the scoring, we've talked about the collection of the data using the app. One other, let's see, the use of GIS. So Terry Smith, a Wolfgate resident, had volunteered her expertise to help set up the GIS data tools for us to use that we've been using now, that we're going to be using in the analysis. That is coming together very well. I had a teleconference yesterday with National Seashore, and we've been working closely with them to make sure that we are incorporating the data that they'd like to see included in our study. And of course, we've been working with the Cape Cod Commission as well. Yesterday's meeting was particularly with the National Seashore, though, and that was encouraging and helpful. And we're going to be, of course, using National Seashore input into the scoring process as we go forward. Let's see, and that was followed up with correspondence with the Cape Cod Commission. We're getting some additional data from them based on the meeting with the Seashore yesterday. So it's promising, and we're making good progress. So I've been doing a lot of the talking here only because I've been the one managing the computational database effort. But any comments regarding the scoring that's been going on, Ned and Rebecca?
I do think it's great going out in pairs. Like you said, it really helps to bounce it off, you know, your thoughts up at somebody else and get theirs. And I think it really does help balance out the scoring. So I think it's going well. And I do think it's important to get out there and really see it physically too. You know, the mapping is great, don't get me wrong, but I think the combination of mapping and getting out there and going in pairs, I think I'm impressed we already got 70% done.
Yeah, the
We're
other
beating
thing,
Lance's 14 million hours total so far, so that's good.
time flies. So when we, so that the public knows what we're talking about here regarding the scoring, we've been, of course, developing this analysis plan for months now, and it's been based on a study of reference documents and a study of other bikeway analyses that have been done around the country and even over in Europe. And it includes ones as local as ones on Cape Cod, but also ones around the country, like I said, basically from coast to coast. And developed an analysis methodology that is based on a set of goals, which then translate into objectives. The goals and objectives define what's important for a bikeway. And then the objectives are further broken down into discrete elements of criteria that are scored. And those criteria are scored on a 1 to 5 range. And we have, there were 5 goals that break down into 18 objectives that then break down into 60 criteria. And we've been talking about this, in all our meetings and presenting what we're doing. But just to, as a refresher, the other thing is, and of course, we briefed the select board on what we're doing, and they've approved our approach. If you have any other questions, please go to our website, the committee website on the town site. Go to the Bike and Walkways, and you'll see in the information box in the upper right-hand corner, we've included along in Q&A format a lot of information about what we're doing, and so it would be there for you to review if you're interested. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention, again, for the public, we've talked here about going out in pairs so that you understand what we're doing. 4 members of the committee have been doing the scoring in the field, which translates into 6 possible pairs. And so we've been rotating so that we don't have anybody who's doing all the scoring. We don't have anybody who's not doing any scoring. And we also don't have any pairs that are doing all the scoring. So we're rotating, we're making sure we're all balanced in that approach. And so Rebecca and Christy will go out, then Rebecca and Ned, I'll go out with Christy, I'll go out with Rebecca, and so on. And we have 100% coverage of all the possible scoring pairs that way. And that is very helpful to ensure that the scoring is credible, and that we're all approaching it the same way. And again, what we're seeing is across individual scores and across pair scores, we're seeing some very tight groupings of these scores. And where necessary, if we get 2 scores that are a point apart, we can average them. What it ends up looking like is that you end up with scores that are, not all integers. You might get a score that has a 0.5 in it, but that's why. It's because we're trying to take into account everybody's score equally. All of that's going to be handled in the computations done in the database. Anyway, we have an Excel workbook that's taking the data that's being provided, the scoring data, and then with which we're doing the analysis. Let's see. Any other items regarding the status of the analysis, or anything from the committee?
Not for me.
No, I think we're on track. We just got to keep going and finish it up.
We're getting really close, by the way. As we talked about in our last meeting, we have, of the 60 criteria, most of those are scored at the segment level in the field, because so many of the alternatives involve some of the same routes or same sections of road. We broke it out so that we're scoring those segments all individually, and then combining them as routes. And by doing it at a segment level, we can then, in our analysis, we can combine those segments in new ways to find hybrid routes that might be available. Maybe nobody recommended one that turns out to be the best one. So it gives us that flexibility. Most of the criteria are at that level. not all of them. Some of them are best scored at an end-to-end route level. And so we've held those in reserve, and there are 11 of them right now that will be scored. And they won't require going back out into the field because most of them, well, all of them involve either using the geospatial information system tools that are in place, thanks to Terry, or they're involving external agency input, for instance, from DPW, from the police and fire, or from the Cape Cod National Seashore or the Cape Cod Commission, et cetera. So there'll be multiple layers to this analysis, but it's coming together very well. And let's see, any comments from members of the public? Okay, if not, we'll move on in the agenda then. Other bike and walkways issues. Anything else that we need to talk about regarding bike and walkway issues in Wellfleet?
What about getting Terry nominated onto the board or filling the vacancy? Is what's that? Where's that stand?
So because Lance Miller resigned for due to circumstances that were outside of the committee, Terry Smith has submitted an application. If it's okay for me to say that in our meeting here, but that's going to be an agenda item at the next select board meeting on May 25th. So the let's see, if nothing else, other business not reasonably anticipated 48 hours prior to the meeting. One item is that I was speaking with a member of the select board yesterday who informed me that they are organizing a roundtable meeting regarding bikeway and roadway issues with the state agencies and with National Seashore and Cape Cod Commission. And this roundtable meeting in the select board, but they'd like our committee to participate in that. So that will be held sometime in June. I reminded them that our report will be coming in June. So other factors are driving the scheduling of this roundtable meeting. But I just wanted to mention that that our committee has been invited to participate in the meeting and by the select board. And so we'll need to consider who will represent our committee in that meeting and how we want to do that. So I don't know that that's something for us to decide at this meeting, but let's think about it and we can discuss later.
We can't all be present at the meeting, or it's only one, or?
Oh, no, good point. That's an option. We could say that we all want to be present. I think it's not restrictive, but we weren't asked to have one person or two people, but it would be, it's something we will need to factor in. We don't know what day the meeting is going to be, but we just need to be, I think we can work together, just make sure that our team is represented at the meeting.
Right. So
not a restrictive thing at all, but rather just so that we can be organized to support that. All right. So that was new and just came up yesterday. So that's why I'm mentioning it here at the end. Good. So Rebecca, following this meeting, before we sum up here, any other comments?
Once again, see an awful lot of activity out there at Amsler's, leveling it off like they're ready to put that parking lot in any day now, but I don't know, I guess there's not much we can do at this point, but.
Well, you raised an interesting point. When the activity began at the Amsler property in late March, the committee wrote a letter wrote an email to the select board requesting immediate action to contact the DCR commissioner to confirm that they were in fact halting their work at Wellfleet Hollow Campground, because the DCR commissioner had put that in writing as a commitment to the Wellfleet Select Board in September. It appeared to us that clearing the Amsler property violated that commitment. And we wrote that letter to the select board. The select board has still not responded. A week following our letter, the structures on that property were demolished. Now the trees are down, now it's being leveled. Still no word. So we can,
So I wonder, because when we had talked to the contractor, he said nothing beyond the campground had been gone to bid or anything, but obviously the work at Amsler's wasn't done for free. So I wonder if it was part of the contract for the South Wellfleet side of things.
apparently. Yeah, just in informal discussion with contractors on the scene, that appeared to be the case. The contractors who were working in South Wellfleet said they were the ones who were also working at the Amsler site.
So I wonder if it's possible to get information on what exactly is happening at the Amslers as part of that contract.
Mm-hmm. And that would be are you suggesting our committee should contact DCR on behalf of Wellfleet?
Or ask the town officials if they've been informed or how they're going to learn about it.
Well, we could. That would be we can write to the select board again.
That sounds like the best approach at this point, I would think.
Because I know that people keep asking me what's happening there, and I feel like we're just learning after the fact. And I know the DCR's published some information, but they didn't publish anything about what has been going on and I don't know what else is planned.
Right. Well, it's unclear to the extent to which they're keeping the town government informed.
Mhm.
We've certainly made our concerns known to the town government, and I think that's worthwhile to do if we want to restate that concern.
Yeah, I think we got to keep pressuring them, because it just feels like to me, they're just kind of literally bulldozing along, just going to keep going and have everything totally in place and then just do it. That it just looks like to me, that's the way they want to go. They really want to bring it out to Amsler's and just do their original plan. And if we just sit back, I just think we make it easier for them to, the closer they get that all set up, the easier it's going to be for them to make a case. Well, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and of course, that's a concern a lot of us have. Let's draft something for to the select board then, and I think that's a good idea. Rebecca, why don't you and I, or Ned too, if you'd like, we can all coordinate on a draft, but I think we can take a motion here to we want to send a correspondence to the select board. So
yeah,
would somebody like to make that? Ned, do you want to make that motion?
Yeah, I motion that we draft a letter to the select board with showing our concerns about what's going on at the Amsler property.
Thank you. I second. Rebecca, is Rebecca still online?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Rebecca, you're muted. There you
Yes,
go. Okay.
are we voting now?
Okay. So actually, as far as sending a letter of concern of inquiry to the select board, Ned's made the motion. I seconded. So all in favor that we send that correspondence to the select board, please say aye.
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 All right, okay. We'll do that. Let's do that today. No reason to wait. Okay, thanks, Ned. Let's see, any other comments from the committee?
No.
Anything from members of the public? Okay, if not, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second.
Okay. I think I heard Rebecca seconding as well, so all in favor is,
Moot point.
I think we're, yeah, that's unanimous. Okay, well, one of our shorter meetings, good. We'll get back to work on the analysis that's going on. So we can coordinate in our pairs to go out and do more scoring this weekend.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.